Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to the EasyJet Airbus A320 and of course Inebil's London Gatwick scenery. Today we're going to do a classic EasyJet trip across Europe from London Gatwick over to Dubrovnik, which has a very interesting approach. Hopefully runway 29 is active today, depends a little bit on how the weather is going to evolve over there as we fly along. In any case, I'm positive this is going to be a very exciting flight. Now, after a little message from today's sponsor, we're going to get right into it. And the returning sponsor of this video is, of course, Say Intentions AI. If you're interested in an ATC add-on, and if you like what you hear during today's flight, then be sure to check them out using the affiliate link in the video description below. But with that said, let's get right into it. We're going to start today's flight with a little analysis of our flight plan. This is what it looks like. Departing Gatwick, then across Belgium, Germany, Austria and Italy, we go right into Croatia and all the way down to Dubrovnik. The significant weather chart for today has quite a lot of low-level stuff and a lovely jet stream over here in level 360. That little number 1 down here is moderate turbulence to flight level 400, so that's going to be probably most of the flight here, at least the better part of the second half. Now, with that out of the way, let's have a look into the weather forecast. We can see Gatwick is very good, just scattered clouds over here and southwesterly winds. But Dubrovnik is where things get interesting. The current winds are 030 at 18, gust 32, which is almost directly cross, and that's with clear skies and a temperature of 20 degrees. Now, it's going to get a little bit warmer here, up to 25 degrees today, and then you can see throughout the course of the day we'll keep having crosswind, 28 knots according to the forecast over here, and our alternate split has very good weather. So with that in mind, up a little bit, we are scheduled to depart at 0520. That's going to lead to an arrival 20 minutes ahead of schedule, and we have more than enough margin on both takeoff weight and landing weight. Flight level 350 is the planned level. Now let's go ahead and have a look into the fuel. With the weather forecast we have at Dubrovnik today, I want to take at least one go around followed by a second approach. So let's just about take 800 kilos on top over here. That means our minimum is going to be 7.9 plus 800, so we're looking at 8.7 tons of fuel that we're going to load for today's flight. Alright then, that much for the basics. Now let's get right into it and let's go ahead and get our aircraft set up. I'm actually going to start right down here, so import the flight into the Phoenix EFB. We did already look at all the data, so let's go to the mass and balance page down here. Fuel, we wanted to have 8.7. Oh, that's a bit much. 8.7. And that's with 180 passengers, so completely full, 1,400 kilos in the holds. Looking good. Apply and load, and you can use GSX for boarding and refueling, please. Wonderful. And with that ongoing, let's go ahead and start our setup. So thrust levers, idle, engine start levers, off, mode selector norm, landing gear lever is down, the wipers are off, batteries above 25 volts, so let's turn them on. Let's get the external power going. Now it is going to take a little while for all the electrics to power up down here, but we've got very good use for that time. So let's start with our EFB, and we do have runway 26 left. We can synchronize the preliminary load sheet and the weather. Intersection data over here, let's take Alpha, well, I'll tell you what, let's take Bravo 1. And our performance limited takeoff weight is 84.8, so we know that we can take off. And then we can head over into the charts. Down here, London Gatwick, it's automatically loaded these already, very good.
Meters.
So then the only thing we will need is going to be the parking charts. Here they are. Alright, wonderful. So those are the charts that we are going to need today. Very good. So the aircraft is just about starting up. We have that side stick fault that I'm just going to cancel for the remainder of the flight. apart from that, there should be nothing special in here. Looks like the aircraft has finished its power-up sequence. Then we can go ahead and turn all 3 ADRs on. Set our radios. So for that we'll need Gatwick delivery 121.9055. Here we go, 21955, ground will be 21805. And then we can also set our second set, ATIS 136525. And then we can just listen to the ATIS straight away.
Vicinity of airport. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information India. London Gatwick Airport, information India. 0420 Zulu. Wind 240 at 9er. Visibility 6. Sky conditions, scattered at 1600 feet. Temperature 15. Dew point 13. QNH 1012. Density altitude 200 feet. Transition level 70.
Alrighty, so the ATIS is on board. The comms are all set, very good, and we do have them at a decent volume as well. Then let's go for the APU fire test. And that's looking good, and the temperature inside 16 degrees. Well, it's getting a little hot here in the flight deck though. Let's open that window. Alright, excellent. So we're going to keep the APU off for the time being. Then we've already done the EFB setup. Let's go ahead and request our flight plan down here. A320 CFM engines, nav database up to date. Init request, very good. And then we have sufficient oxygen on board. The hydraulic quantities are looking good. The oil quantities are looking good. Flaps agree. Parking brake released for the moment. Let's press those pedals, and that's looking good. Alright, and the parking brake is set again. Very good. I think that's absolutely all that we need over here. Then let's get straight into our flight deck setup. So refueling in progress, that means we're going to leave the seatbelt signs off for the time being. Fuel pumps, you will find a huge debate amongst Airbus pilots whether you're supposed to turn them on during the refueling process or not. It doesn't specifically state in the manual that you're not supposed to do it, that's the reason I do it. In fact, the procedure in the manual simply says extinguish all white lights, and that is the white light, so therefore, in my opinion, it is the correct thing to do it, but you will find other opinions as well. Okay, so pretty much done setting everything up over here. Then let's go right into our FMS down here. Okay, looks like it's signed us out. That's fine. So, let's see what we'll have today. Easy 6459er. Cost index 9, Throttle 350. So, departing London Gatwick, off runway 26 left. And it will be the MIMFO departure, MIMFO 1 mic. And then arriving into Dubrovnik. We'll have to see, for the time being they do plan runway 29. So let's go ahead and have a quick look into which arrival we can expect over there. I guess probably the visual approach. That would surely be the easiest thing to do over here. Might also turn into the ANAF approach though. So let's just have a quick look. No, we're not gonna do the... Actually, I do want to do the AR. Do I? Yeah, I probably do. Nah, visual is easiest. Let's just go with the visual for the time being. So just runway 29, and then CPAL 1 Lima arrival. Alright. Very good. So let's go ahead and have a look at our departure and what we've just inserted in our plan. So MIMFO 1 Mike departure. Straight at 2.3 DME outbound from the ILS, maximum 220 between 1.5 and 4,000. And that's what we've got over here. Then it's going to be a right-hand turn inbound to Datling, passing 31 DME, 220 knots between 3.2 and 4,000. Yep. Passing 25 DME below 4,000, maximum 250. Yep, that's also correct. And then we continue towards Acorn at 5,000 and then MIMFO at 6,000. So Acorn and MIMFO. Looking good. So the emergencies will be easy. Let's Gatwick 26 left on a 257 track. Did I forget the distance? I probably did. Alright, this is looking better. Okay, and the same thing for the fixed page. So far so good. Then let's go into the performance initialization. For that, let's also check the ACAS messages we have received. So load sheet number 1 doesn't matter, load sheet number 2, so that's 59.9. And the CG at 32. Looking good. Let's see if they've got the correct fuel order in here. 8.7. And we have 8.7 on board. Wonderful. The refueling is complete. Okay, excellent. So then let's continue with a look into the plan. So our alternate fuel is 1.3 and the final 1.1. Interesting, why is the alternate so much longer in here? Split? Split. Okay. 1.3, 1.1. Looks correct. Okay, average wind component, tailwind of 60 knots. That's the jet stream we saw in the flight plan. And then let's continue with our performance. So, config 1 takeoff at 62 degrees. And the speed's 44, 44, 47. 1200, 1200, 1700, that looks all correct. Clean speed 222. Well, 220 is our speed restriction, we will ignore that. So those 2 knots are not going to matter much. Alright, cool. So with that we are finished with our pre-flight. Let's go ahead and request our PDC, and for that I will also quickly listen to the Asus again.
GH 200 feet. Scattered at 2200 feet. Temperature 14. Dew point 12. QNH 1013. Density altitude 100 feet. Transition level 70. Arriving and departing runway 26 left. Advise on initial contact, you have information Juliet.
So,
London
8 is
Gatwick
Juliet,
Airport.
gate
Information
23,
Juliet. 04.
station Gatwick. Good morning. Right, Gatwick to split, easy 6459, gate 23, 8 is Juliet, good morning, A320, station Gatwick, sent. Okay, PDC, received, standby. Good. That's what we'll do. Wonderful, so everything's set up here and down here. Then we can go for
Emmanuel,
the oxygen
boarding has
test,
started
please.
and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard EasyJet UK flight 6459, heading to Dubrovnik. We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in
My
front of
curious
you.
oxygen test.
If you need any assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to our lovely crew members who are here to help. Thank you for choosing EasyJet, and we hope you have a pleasant flight.
Oh, interesting. The oxygen masks on the FO side are not modeled. Okay. Let's already close that window. And then, as we're on it already, well, here comes the clearance. Okay, so, let's see. Easy, 6459, request processed, standby. And here's the clearance itself. So, cleared to Dubrovnik, that's checked. MIM41 Mike departure is confirmed. Maintain 6000. Okay, departure 133.94, squawk 2272, expect runway 26 left. Checked. 2272. Okay, Wilco and send. Alright, so that's the clearance pretty much as expected. Slightly different initial climb. And then let's go for our briefing, please. So, Gatwick 26 left, MIM41 Mike departure. Initial is 6000, MSA 3000 keeps us safe, the actual is a little bit lower. Now, we do have an engine out straight at 25, you'll talk about that in a few moments. And in terms of extra fuel and time, we have 700 kilos, 21 minutes. Alright, thanks for that. Hotspots for our taxi routing. Let's see. Not too familiar with that side of Gatwick, but there's basically just one hotspot, that's the number 3 down here. And let me guess, this thing looks like a roundabout, and since we're in the UK, that's a hotspot? Yeah, potential routing errors. Pilots taxiing eastbound on Juliet shall be aware that the taxiway deviates to the north at this point. Okay, well, that's not going to be our problem. Okay, apart from that, we have a stop margin that should be plenty. Runway 26 left, EO sits straight at 25, climbing 3000. No specials, nothing non-standard, and, well, what else is there? Pretty much nothing. So do you have any questions? No? Superb. I have no specials, non-standards. Well, perhaps one, in that we are going to slightly bust the speed limit, going 2 knots faster to be able to retract the flaps. Alright, and that's it. So we can already... Actually, we can't. Okay, that's fine. Alright, cool. So that's our briefing completed. Then, looks like the load sheet has just about arrived, if I need to guess. They're closing the doors. Yep. So, compliance with edition number 2, easy, 6459er on the Golf Izoa. That's the one. 2 pilots, 4 cabin crews, Gatwick to Dubrovnik, 59.9, which is exactly what we have. And 32 is also looking good, fuel in tanks 8.7, and that's a CG of 29.8, which equals roughly a downtrim of 0.4. Okay, accept this. And that's looking good. Okay, done with this, done with this. And APU availed. Alright, excellent. So, let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. So that's gear, pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity, 8,700 kilos balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs, nav, barrel ref, QNH 1013. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel in the name of EasyJet. We'd like to welcome you on board our Airbus A320 on our flight to Dubrovnik. Today's flight time will be rather short at just over 2 hours. However, we do expect a little bit of turbulence due to the strong tailwinds that we're going to fly through. Thank you very much for being our guest. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Alrighty, so passengers are briefed, then we do have our final performance figures in here. Then let's talk to the ground crew. Ground flight deck. So please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed. Roger that, we call you back for pushback in a few moments. So let's just get him to work. Looking good. Alright, then let's get our clearance. Gatwick delivery, EZ6459, our request startup and pushback.
EZ6459er, you are currently on the clearance frequency. Please contact ground control for startup and pushback instructions.
Roger. Yeah, that's because you need to hand me off, my friend. Gatwick ground, EZ6459, request pushback and startup.
EZ6459er, pushback and startup approved, face south.
Pushback and startup approved, face south, EZ6459. Okay, so that's a straight pushback. Then let's do the before start checklist, please. Park and brake is set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 144, VR 144, V2 147, flex 62. Windows closed, and the bacon is on and tasty. Before start checklist complete. Ground flight deck.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome
So,
aboard
push start
EasyJet
approved,
UK
straight
flight
pushback.
6459, heading to Dubrovnik. We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding pass.
Roger, straight
Stow
push,
your hand luggage in the overhead bin or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, please
Then
don't
release the brakes,
hesitate to
please.
reach out to our lovely crew members who are here to help.
Brakes released.
My name is Caroline, and I'm your lead flight attendant today.
Oh, we can close this.
Joining me in the cabin are my wonderful colleagues, Liam, Sophie,
So, clear to start
and
engines
me.
at our discretion.
We're all here to ensure you have a pleasant flight. We expect the flight time to be approximately 2 hours and 11 minutes. Now, let's go through some important safety information. First, please ensure your seatbelt is fastened. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal tip into the buckle.
Gotta wait until we're clear of the road here.
To release it, simply
Is
lift
that a
the
road?
buckle. It's
I don't know.
important to keep
It's a
the
marking
seatbelt
at the end of the
fastened
gate.
whenever
That's
you
the
need
one
it,
thing that
just in
counts.
case we experience any unexpected turbulence. In the event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the panel above.
Alright, engine
Use
1
the mask.
start.
Pull it towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put your own mask on first before assisting others. We also have life vests located under your seat. In the unlikely event of an emergency landing on water, remove the vest from its pouch, slip it over your head, and pull the straps tightly.
stop here and complete the procedure. So push complete, set brakes. Brake set. Let's see if they actually do something. So, good start on number 1, starting number 2. Looks like GSX doesn't care that we just told it that the pushback is complete. Yeah. The next GSX bug, huh? Alright, thanks. Cool. So, interrupt pushback, yes. Gotta hate it. At least they're removing the pin nowadays. There used to be a time where they didn't do that when you pressed the interrupt button. But okay, we have 2 good starts. Then you click disconnect, we'll assume the pin is seen, and bye-bye. Okay, after start, checklist. Anti-ice, off, ecom status, checked, pitch trim, 30%, rudder trim, neutral, after start, checklist complete. It's a fairly long taxi, so let's do the flight control steering taxi. Easy 6459, request taxi.
Easy 6459er, taxi to runway 26 left via Kilo November Bravo.
Taxi to runway 26 left via Kilo November Bravo, easy 6459er. Okay, so Kilo November Bravo. That's an easy one, I can do that. Clear on the right side, clear on the left side. And the brake is off. Brake check. Pressure 0. So, second to the left, onto Kilo. Well, over here onto November already, even easier. Alright, flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Hello, Emmanuel here.
The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. Okay, cool. No changes to the briefing. So, Bravo is straight ahead. Taxi checklist, please.
Easy 6459er, contact tower on 124.23. Have a good morning.
124.23, easy 6459er, YouTube.
Easy 6459er, contact tower on 124.23.
124.23, easy 6459er. They don't seem to understand fun. So 124.23. Okay, taxi checklist. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, conf 1 plus F. Radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto. Engine start selector. Norm, ECA memo, takeoff no blue. Taxi checklist, complete. So... very quick check here what the departure frequency is going to be. 12053. No, they had a different one. Okay. $3394. I am rotating this too quickly. Here we go. Okay, so are you ready? Gatwick Tower, easy 6459 are ready for departure.
Easy 6459er, London Gatwick Airport Tower, runway 26 left. Wind 240 at 9er, clear for takeoff.
Runway 26 left, clear for takeoff, easy 6459er. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Line up checklist.
Approaching 26 left.
That's correct. Takeoff runway 26 left, Bravo 1, TCAS, Tara, PEX 1 and 2. Off, line up checklist complete. Wow, the moment we line up on the runway, the performance goes absolutely down the drain.
Left.
Let's just stop here for a second. Wouldn't do that in the real world, but you can see the frame rate, and I'm not too eager on departing like that. So let's just wait a moment here, see if the sim catches itself. This is rather unfortunate, but welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. No, doesn't look like it, huh? Well, okay, then we'll just go like this and thank Asobo for once again providing us with a shitty piece of simulation software. Takeoff. And flag 62, SRS runway auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Okay, 110 knots. V1 rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav checked. The funny thing is the displays in the aircraft were working a lot better than the frame rates of the sim itself. You don't see that too often, do you? And now that we're airborne, frame rates are perfect again. I don't understand this simulator.
6459er, contact departure on 133.904.
133.904, easy 6459er. Gatwick, easy 6459er, passing 2000, climbing 6000. Pull out. Open climb out 6000 blue. Flap 0.
459er, under control, identified, climb via the SID.
Climb via the SID, easy 6459er. Okay. Manage altitude, alt 4000 magenta. Pull vertical speed 1000. So acceleration flow pattern is complete. And now set 4,000, please. (14 degrees), we don't need anti-ice. That's the first thing to think about when you're entering clouds. All stop. Man, those clouds look beautiful out there, don't they? That's the one thing I really love. For a flight like this, you get up at like 4 AM or so. That's the part I don't love, but once you're in the air, once you see this, that really makes up for it, doesn't it? Alt. Autopilot 1. Alright, so we can start accelerating. And passing 29 dB deadling, we can continue the climb towards 5,000 feet. And here we are, 29 dB deadling. Vertical speed out 5,000 blue. 1,000 to go. Checked. So let's see if they will clear us any higher or if we are going to remain that low for so long. One of the interesting things of flying so low here is that SimBrief does not take that into consideration for the fuel predictions. If you look into the plan, it expects you to go to level 350 straight away. Now it doesn't use that much extra, to be completely honest, but it does use a couple kilos, so if you operate along the fashion of an airline like Ryanair or EasyJet, taking minimum fuel, then you might...
6459, climb flight level 220.
Easy 6459, climb flight level 220. Perfect, that's what we've been waiting for. Thrust climb alt 22,000 blue. So yeah, if you're operating, you know, on absolute minimum fuel, then that is something you should take into consideration. And funnily enough, back in the day when I flew for a low-cost carrier, they actually would file something like 6,000 to MIMFO, and only thereafter a continued climb, so that this is really taken into consideration there. So right into the clouds, or rather right into the sun. Let's get the shades down. Set standard. Standard cross-check, passing flight level 69 now. Checked. So weather doesn't really seem to be a factor here. Let's pull out the terrain display on your side, as we will be flying over the Alps eventually. And let's face it, since the weather radar doesn't work anyway, we can do the same on our side. So 11 degrees. Yeah, we might just about cut into those clouds. Engine anti-ice on. Yeah, now it's 10 degrees. That's what I expected. So I'll just keep the anti-ice on for a short moment here, just to be sure that we are going to clear those clouds here completely. Yeah, that was interesting. Did you see the speed bug? wiggling around a bit before it eventually jumped up.
Easy 6459, climb flight level 280.
Easy 6459, climb flight level 280.
We are now at a safe altitude, and you are
Alright, so release the passengers, engine anti-ice off, and then clear and copy.
Our onboard Wi-Fi service is now available for you to connect to. Enjoy your flight.
So let's see, cruising 350, optimum 350, maximum 382. Well, that makes it a very easy decision. So, connect, notification, Echo Delta, Yankee Yankee, notify. And with that, my friends, we can now sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight across Europe. Alright everyone, so we are now established on the arrival, and indeed it looks like runway 29.
Easy 6459er, contact Dubrovnik radar on 123.6.
123.6, Easy 6459. Dubrovnik radar Easy 6459, passing 14,600, descending 3,500.
Easy 6459er, Dubrovnik radar identified, Dobro Jutro.
Alrighty, so we're now following the Sipal 1 Lima arrival, and we're expecting the visual approach for runway 29. ATC is still thinking about doing an RNAV approach, but we'll request the visual momentarily with him as soon as we have the field in sight. So let's have a quick look into what I've actually programmed into our FMS. So we're coming in via the Sipal 1 Lima. That one takes us all the way to Olegu. From Olegu, we will do the visual approach. Now, Olegu reads 7,000 over here. That may be a little bit high, so I will probably correct that a little bit. Let's go ahead and have a look into the arrival chart here. So visual approach runway 29, Olegu. Basically 4,000 is going to be good over here. So let's just change that constraint from 4,000 above to exactly at 4,000 and insert. The rest from it is going to be totally visually, so we will not have to bother with any of the FMS stuff. Now, the arrival weather is actually a fairly interesting one at the moment. So the wind 030 at 18, 20 degrees, QNH 1015. We don't need a minimum since it will be a visual approach, and we will of course be using flaps full in order to reduce our speed, and just because the plane does handle a little bit nicer here with flaps full than it does with flaps 3. Which is interesting, exactly the contrary to how the 737 would behave, where 30 is better than 40 for turbulent conditions. But that just on a side note. It's not a 737 after all. Alright, and those are the basics of our approach, so let's go for the approach briefing. And we actually cleared a descent of 3.5, so let's go open descent, alt 3.5 blue. Alright, so for the briefing, CPAL 1 Lima arrival, visual approach 29, MSA wise, well, we can see it over here. That's the airport, over the sea, 3,000 is safe, on the other side up to 10,000, depending on how far we actually do want to go. And missed approach will be visually into the pattern, and that's it. Any questions? Wonderful, so visual approach,
Captain, cabin is
flight
ready.
directors off, bird on, and we have no
Ladies and
specials.
gentlemen, we are now beginning our final approach into Dubrovnik. Please turn off your electronic devices.
Yeah,
and
idle
stones
reverse,
until we've
auto brake
arrived at the
low,
gate.
config full,
kindly
the
ask
gate
you
to
to
the left,
concentrate
no
on the
hotspots,
Ensure your seats are in their
and
full upright
that's
position
pretty much it.
and
Nothing
fasten
special,
your
nothing
seatbelt.
non-standard. Any
Once we
questions?
land, our EasyJet
Nope.
staff
Beautiful.
will provide you with information regarding your connecting flights. Thank you for your cooperation.
Easy 6459, runway in sight, request visual approach.
Easy 6459er, visual approach approved. Expect runway 29er.
Cleared visual approach, runway 29er, easy 6459er. Alright, wonderful. So let's see, we leave Olegu on the 085 radial towards Matsev. What we can do here to make that a bit easier. Matsev in here, radial 265, and now you can see we have that nicely drawn up on our ND. So that leaves us with about 15 track miles remaining, so we are going to keep the speed brakes for the time being. Also, I don't want to activate the approach phase just yet, so let's go selected 250. Heading. Okay, approach checklist. Barrel ref, QNH 1016, seatbelts on, minimum, none, auto brake, low, engine start selector, norm, approach checklist complete. Okay, I like it. So let's turn left, heading 085. Oh, okay, several things at once. Hello, Emmanuel in the machine room.
The cabin is now secure for landing.
Thanks. Man, that cabin pressure computer has fucked up. Okay, so tell you what, manage speed, speed alt star. Okay, so yeah, cabin pressure, low differential pressure. Ecam actions. Expect high cabin rate, aircraft vertical speed reduce. We've done that. Clear cabin pressure. Okay, status. Yeah, we're happy with that and problem solved. Okay. So, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Then let's continue down towards 2000. And gear down. Manual flight. Flight directors off, bird on. Set runway track 294. Flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. Okay, runway track is set. Go around altitude 3000 set. Flaps 3. Speed checked. Flaps 3. Okay. Speed brakes in and out. So, passing Matsev, let's start the left-hand turn.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
No.
Terrain
doesn't
ahead.
seem to know about
Pull
the approach
up.
path. So we'll just turn it off. Flaps full. Speed checked. Flaps full. So, they want us to turn to about a 1.9 mile final. That's fine with me. So, just clean up that FMS, please. Which we can't. Funny. Okay. Clear, insert, thanks. So, now is the time where a first officer would be good. Just in order to handle the ATC communications as we're about to turn final. Easy 6459, established final approach. So that's the field.
6459er, continue approach, runway 29er.
Continue approach, easy 6459er. Landing checklist, econ memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete.
Easy 6459er, contact Dubrovnik Tower on 129.5.
129.5, easy 6459er.
Approaching 2.
Okay, we're not gonna do this. This is really where you would need the first officer, but flying a visual approach manually, I'm happy to do without the tower. So, a little bit high on the puppies, that's fine.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel.
One. 500 meters remaining.
I gotta admit, it felt wrong to land without the landing clearance here or without tower contact, but 500 feet is much too late for the handoff. That's definitely something that I will report to them so that they hopefully fix it earlier. In the real world, I would have expected to get the tower handoff latest by the time we arrive at the base. Latest.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at Dubrovnik Airport. What an excellent landing, rated an 8 out of 10. The current local time here is 10:38 a.m. The weather is
Alright, so let's see. Ground frequency is going to be... well, they only have the tower, it seems.
Thank
okay.
You for flying with EasyJet today.
So that's 129.5.
On behalf of Captain Emmanuel, First Officer, and the entire crew, Liam, Sophie, Ethan, and Mia, we wish you a
let's
wonderful
just turn it
stay
here.
in
Slow it down a bit. Alright. Dubrovnik Tower, easy 6459, request taxi to the gate.
Easy 6459er, Dubrovnik Airport Tower, taxi to the gate approved. Follow the taxiway instructions provided by ground control.
Roger. No, there is no ground control.
Easy 6459er, Dubrovnik Airport Tower. Welcome to Dubrovnik. Taxi to Park 35 via Whiskey, stay with me.
Down 35 via Whiskey, stay with you. Easy 6459er.
Easy 6459er, taxi to Park 35 via Whiskey. Have a great day.
Thanks. 35, where is that?
6459er, taxi to Park 35 via Whiskey, stay with me.
35 via Whiskey, stay with you. Easy 6459er. Is that the general aviation? Easy 6459er requests gate 12.
Easy 6459er, taxi to gate 12 approved. Follow the taxiway instructions provided by ground control.
Okay. This is not good, so thank you, bye-bye. Alright, so let's go ahead and start that APU. Let's also fix the GPWS. Well, after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear off, after landing checklist complete. So that was an interesting arrival. The visual was really beautiful. Now, in the real world would have been a little bit nicer because we would not have had that strut in front of us because we could just move our head around. That's really where a head tracker would come in useful. But for recording it's just not that nice because it just moves the camera too much for my taste. Makes it very hard to actually read something on the screen. Well, and with that we've arrived. So, gate number 12 is going to be the next to the right. So, lights off please. Guidance system is inoperative, no marshaller. Yep, that looks like Europe in summer season. Alright, so we'll just park somewhere about here. Looking good to me. So, bleed on. Engines off. Cabin crew, all doors in park. So, engines are running down. Both engines going below 20. Beacon off. And once the slides are disarmed. So now, seatbelts off. Parking checklist, parking brake chocks, brake set, engines off, wing light off, fuel pumps off, parking checklist complete. So, I cancelled you earlier already. So, that's it. Welcome to Dubrovnik, my friends. External power is connected, 21 degrees, so we can actually turn that APU off for a moment. And then let's turn off that transponder. Off and 2000. Fuel usage is even. Use 2100 kilos. Does that look right? Yeah, commence deboarding please. But 2100 kilos seems too little. Yeah, look at that. Should have been more than. That fuel use gauge is definitely incorrect. Very strange. I suppose I don't want to know what's been going on down there. In any case, my friends, that's it. Welcome to Dubrovnik. Let me know your feedback in the comments underneath the videos. As always, I will report the issues that I found to the developers of the various aircraft. And with all of that out of the way, thank you very much for flying along. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.